Jatin, hi Shweta. Amit here from InterviewMocha.
Hey,
Hi
Amit.
Amit, how are you? Okay, friends, thank you so much everyone for joining in. Today's session is about EdTech. So every Wednesday evening we host this startup growth panel, sector-specific startup growth panels, and we will take up different sectors. So today's theme is about EdTech. So thank you so much everyone. Again, I'm Jatin. I'm one of the co-founder of eChai Network. Today we have three awesome speakers who joined in: Shweta from GreyAtom, Amit from InterviewMocha, and Prashant will be joining in from AltCampus. Uh, so the format of today's program will be each of the speakers will be introducing about what they are doing, and then we'll get to the discussion. You can ask questions in the chat, or those of you who are watching live from YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, you can just ask questions over there. We'll take up some of those questions. Uh, and meanwhile, I'll share the Twitter and LinkedIn profiles of each of our speakers in the chat. So in case if you want to get in touch with them after the meetup, you can do that. So thank you so much, everyone. Again, for the first 5-6 minutes, I'll keep on welcoming everybody because some people will joining in 2 minutes and 3 minutes. So bear with me for those thank you and welcome messages for the first 3-4 minutes. Shweta and Amit, thank you so much for joining in. So if you can just briefly introduce about what you do and brief context about your work, and then we'll get started with our discussions. Shweta.
Sure. So, hi guys. I'm a co-founder at GreyAtom, and this is a journey we've started around 3.5 years back. I have no prior education, EdTech background, and I call myself to be an accidental entrepreneur. My problem started from my own pain. So basically, this was a time, 2015, I was working at Nielsen, and that was the time when data sciences was picking up as a skill set required to do what we need to do in terms of analyzing the data, the vast data that we had at Nielsen back then. And I was just not able to find the right kind of skill sets in people who can get started from the word go. And that's when we thought of starting off a meetup community first. So very much like eChai is doing all these events where you call in experts from the industry talking about what they are doing, and then aspirants on the other side. So we started very focused events in data science, machine learning, AI. And that's when we saw that people are not really learning these hard skills the right way. MOOCs had started coming in again at that point in time, and anybody who would do an Andrew NG course, they would think that they're going to become a data scientist without really applying a lot of those skills. So that's where we saw a gap and a problem to be solved, and that was the genesis of GreyAtom. We said that we want to make sure that people acquire hands-on skills, and with no importance to certifications, but actual hard skills. If people can acquire and then go to the industry job ready, that's going to be a win for us. So career pivoting programs in emerging tech, and started off with AI, machine learning, NLP, CV, all of these technologies. And now we are doing a lot of work in full stack as well. My background is, I'm a computer science engineer from VJTI Mumbai, and then have been in tech roles, leading transformation engagements in my past life. And last 3.5 years at GreyAtom, I'm building the newer programs. I'm building the partnerships required to get people the right kind of career pivots. And yeah, here we are.
Awesome. Shweta, you are based in Mumbai.
I'm based in Mumbai, yeah.
Amit, if you can briefly introduce about you and your work.
Yeah. So, hi all. I'm Amit Mishra, uh, founder and CEO of InterviewMocha. We are a skill assessment company. Okay. So we started InterviewMocha with a vision that we should do synonym of skill assessment. When I say synonym of skill assessment, you can think of any skill, regardless of industry, be it AI, ML, NLP, Java, SAP, banking, finance, insurance, or any damn industry, any damn category. We should have a skill on it. So far, we have created 2,000 skills through crowdsourcing platforms. So we are over of this industry where we don't own the subject matter experts. but we get it created mostly from Americans and Europeans. So it's a reverse crowdsourcing this time. Okay, they create questions and skills for us, and we sell it for variety of offerings that includes recruitment, be it entry level, university hiring, or lateral hiring, or L&D, learning and development, that includes upskilling, reskilling, and digital transformation. Apart from that, we consider the skill assessment should be the synonym of InterviewMocha, and we should get consumed through API. So we are integrated with a lot of ATS, applicant tracking system. We are integrated with a lot of LMS, and now we have got a new business line which is integrating with training players and the job boards. We already have 6 job boards who are using us for quantifying their resumes to sell further, and few training companies like Udemy is being one of them. So this is about InterviewMocha. Yeah, most of the clients from US, followed by Europe, and some customers in India. Typical medium segment to enterprise SaaS.
Amit, do you assess soft skills? There was a question for you.
So we assess tech skills and aptitude cognitive skills. So soft skills we assess not on personality and behavior side.
Okay.
Wherever we can quantify and judge a person without having any bias, that we do.
Okay, awesome. And Amit, you are based in Pune.
I'm based in Pune, second biggest corona affected after Shweta's Mumbai.
And Ahmedabad is not far. Prashant is the lucky one.
Ahmedabad is third.
Yeah, Prashant is the lucky one. He's in Dharamshala. Prashant, thank you so much. And if you can briefly introduce about you and your work.
Thank you for inviting, Jatin. Hello, everyone. I'm Prashant, one of the co-founders of AltCampus. So what we do at AltCampus is basically train people for 6 months into software development. We are currently offering a course in web development only, based on Mern Stack, Mongo, Express, React, and Node. So we take in people who are even at entry level, who have just graduated out of college, or people who have dropped out. And then we run on ISA model, so you don't need to pay upfront, but we make sure that, okay, once you are through the training, you get a job, and then you pay us back. So yeah, I mean, that's in the gist what AltCampus does. Yeah, we are based out of Dharamshala. I mean, in terms of Corona, we are so far good, relatively speaking. Yeah, so that's about AltCampus and me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Prashant. So friends who are right now live with us on Zoom, or those who are watching the video, you can ask any questions. We'll pick up those things. And meanwhile, I'll keep on asking few questions. So we'll start with some of the basic ones so people get more context about your work. So what are the interesting numbers about your business that you would want to share? Shweta. Shweta, you'll have to unmute yourself.
I always look at one key metric, which is engagement on the platform. So we have a tech platform where people code up and they get immediate evaluation of whatever code they have written. And we work in sprints. So every sprint, they are meant to complete a certain number of coding challenges. So to us, one number that really matters is even beyond the daily average users on the platform, it's the engagement. And in what is engagement? So we have our own unique way of defining that. So we break it down into 3 broad areas. One is the behavioral engagement, the social engagement, and the cognitive engagement. So cognitive is what kind of tasks people are performing, and eventually how much they are able to crack the coding challenges that we have. The behavioral engagement is basically, are they doing all of that on time? And then there are indicators for that as well. And then you have, the social engagement in terms of how they are helping their peers on the Slack channel, and how's the interaction happening between the cohorts. And that gives us a sense as well of how this person is going. And we have a small machine learning model inside that then predicts that, is this learner going to be able to finish the program or not? So even beyond the completion rates, and I feel that in EdTech, typically a lot of weightage is given straight to the completion rate. But before that, we feel that engagement is something that's really important to measure. So that's one thing that we take very seriously.
Awesome. Amit, what are the interesting numbers you would want to share?
So we consider ourselves to be a product market fit company, okay, and monthly recurring revenue is the main number that I unlock every month. How it translates for different teams. For marketing team, it is number of MQLs they generate. For sales team is number new MRR they have added to the system. For CS team, it is the expansion revenue they have come up with the thing. For again, we have two product team. One is technology, and second is content creation, question creation. So technology team, we calculate. So we have different team. How many integrations we have done with the partners ecosystem every month? One typically, not more than that. And how many simulators we have got into the market every quarter? For content team, how many questions we have added per week? Because we intend to be the skill assessment synonym, right? So we would like to create 10,000 skills in next 3 to 5 years, which will be bigger than 9,000 than any other competition. We already are biggest in terms of number of skills. So that's from content point of view. So MRR is the main number that I go after, but for different team it is different.
Okay, awesome. Prashant, what numbers you would want to share?
I mean, so far we have been operating in offline model, so our training and everything been happening in the shala. So we haven't really gotten to a stage where we start looking for a scale. It's only now that we are actually looking at it and going for it. So far, our main focus in the last 1.5 years has been to build a proper curriculum, to refine the pedagogy and make sure that people actually learn whatever, it's very intensive. Our course is very intensive. It's very sort of like what Shweta is talking about, engagement. So it's high on engagement, okay, wherein like we make sure that whoever comes in goes through the 6-month course and actually learns everything on this. So there's a lot of, we don't really have any fancy number as of now, but we have like so far trained like 100 people, we have placed 50 people already and stuff. But I mean, those are not fancy numbers yet, right? So, but it's now that we are looking at a scale. Now that we have a very rock solid platform, very rock solid content, we have worked on this for 1.5 years, and now we know, okay, this is something that we can take it online and then probably try to scale. So it's only now that we are looking at scale.
Okay, so there are questions. So there is a question for you, Prashant, from Rahul. How do you ensure that students get a job at the end of their course? Is it through tie-up with tech companies or startups? Yes.
So one of the things is that we do have some tie-ups with the companies, and then I mean, again, companies are at different strata, right? So, and then they take in people and then they do internships. Some companies take in and do internship, and then once even they sort of assess on their end, and then they make sure that, okay, this is a fit for their company, and then they hire. So we do have partnerships with companies. There are some companies who directly hire from us on one-off basis. So sometimes a company needs one candidate and then they reach out to us, and then we help them with hiring process, right?
Okay, awesome. Shweta and Amit, so the question for you would be, if you go back in the past when you actually started up, so what were those challenges that you faced when you started up? Shweta, what were those 3-4 things that for you realized that it is difficult?
Lots and lots of them. I think, firstly, given that, we didn't have an education background, but we started to solve a problem, which was how to make sure people pivot and get the jobs in the emerging technologies. We had to sort of first come up with the entire pedagogy in terms of how we are going to teach. And we got it right. We did not get it right the first time. So we just had to go through a couple of iterations and get that, that entire piece on the pedagogy right, and how much online, how much offline. So we are a very blended kind of model, where we do a bulk of teaching online, and then a lot of collaboration and projects and hackathons and all of that people come offline for. And then the hiring happens at the end of the program, and some of the hiring preparation also happens offline. So to come to all of that, right, how do you create the right kind of balance between an online and offline piece. I think that was the initial struggle, but I think we've now found the right kind of balance there. The second, of course, for any startup's life cycle is the product market fit. Finding that right product market fit was something that took us about initial 6 to 8 months. Who is the market that we want to go after? Because we didn't want to go after everybody. I mean, there's in the EdTech higher ed sector, there are so many different kinds of niches. And I see somebody asked that question as well, that how do you find your niche? So for us, we eventually evolved the learner persona, that's somebody who has grit, who has basic tech awareness, wants to code up. Because in our country also, there are a lot of people who don't want to code and who just want to, manage people and grow that path. So fair enough, that's a great path as well. But for applied sciences and for hard skills like data science, machine learning, and full stack web development, there is no escape. I mean, you got to code up. So how to identify that right market that will lap up our product? I think that was the initial iterative cycle, and we took some time to get there. But yeah, now we just know who the right customer is.
Awesome. Amit, when you were starting up, what were those challenges? Now you are in the growth, for the challenges would have been different, but when you were starting up, what were those challenges? Yes, Amit.
Yeah, sorry. So it took us a while to go from a rollout stage to growth stage. So let me define these two stages for right thing. So rollout stage is a stage where we have many customers from multiple segments and multiple value proposition. Okay, and it is very important for us to go into a stage where we have single set of segment which we understand and a single value proposition. Then only you can scale, right? So with us, the challenge we really faced was we were a SEO driven company, primarily a content marketing driven company. We used to get dozens of customers from United States, which are from multiple segments. So like many companies are proud to say, so like my first 15K MRR, I used to proudly say that in my 15K MRR, I have 600 customers from 60 countries. Now I feel a bit shameful about it. That how can I in 15K MRR 60 countries? So in my case, we serving I will say Soho players, which are 1 to 10 people companies in the United States. Then moved on to 11 to 50. Then moved on to 50 to 200. And now it took us 2.5 years to understand. And product market fit was there with every customer. But we needed to understand who is the customer who will pay us long LTV and who we are primarily made for. And that turned out to be enterprises with 10,000 employees, the least in US. And now we, being mostly bootstrap, I won't say only bootstrap, but mostly bootstrap, we still serve companies with 1,000 plus employees in the United States. But so product market fit was done for.
Okay, so probably we lost Amit's message. So there are a couple of questions that I wanted to ask Prashant and Shweta. So Shweta, with COVID-19 situation, suddenly there is a strong focus on EdTech, and everybody's saying that people in EdTech are making millions of money. So are you? And what has changed? How are you evolving? Yes, Shweta. You'll have to unmute and speak up. Yes.
I will be very candid about this. Yes, EdTech is making millions, but that's in the K-12 space. I think that's in the space where parents don't know what to do with their kids in this period. And they're just trying to get them enrolled in all kinds of online classes, whether it is White Hat Junior, whether it is Byju's. I think that space is really, really interesting at this point in time. Having said that, see, for the higher ed EdTech space, I think the mind block that people had initially, that only offline is going to give me the outcome, only offline and nothing else. I see that barrier sort of breaking, and I see people now more open to the online formats. And of course, with the fact that you need to get the engagement right, I think that's not going away at all. So once you get the engagement right, whether the format is offline, whether the format is online, that's going to scale up. The second thing I'm seeing is we recently GreyAtom partnered with a bootcamp in Sweden, and we're soon starting a cohort in full stack web development for the Scandinavian region, and that's something I wouldn't have imagined that could happen so fast and so easily in the pre-COVID era, because even the bootcamps there wanted to take an offline route primarily. So now across the world, I see more openness towards, whatever is the format, but just get the engagement right and give us the outcomes. So by the outcome, I mean, like, as Prashant mentioned, for us as well, uh, the final thing is whether we are able to get the person a career pivot, a new job or not. That's the final outcome that we measure ourselves against as well. So that's, I think, we just need to see how this evolves. But COVID is an interesting, I would say, time for all the EdTech companies. Definitely higher ed companies are not making millions right now in the COVID era. But I just feel that it's come as a very different opportunity where the world of possibility is definitely opening up and new doors are definitely opening up.
Prashant, what has changed in your model post-COVID, and are you making millions?
No, we're not making millions to start off with. Second, what has changed? First, let's see. I mean, I would address it in two parts. First, what has not changed? I mean, one of the sort of like selling points of AltCampus has been the offline model. Okay, a lot of people still prefer offline model simply because engagement is way more. I mean, it's much higher than like online model. You have peer groups, so there's like reinforced learning. There's a lot of motivation because on a daily basis you see people interact with them and stuff like that. So engagement is extremely high in offline, and it's not surprising that we still get applications. I mean, we have so far like sort of halted our application process to see how the COVID situation improves or like whatever happens with it. But so far, I still get plenty of emails. When are you opening up for offline? Because people want to come and actually do the offline. And I tell them that, okay, soon enough, we are going to start an online. But they're like, okay, but that's fine. But like, let me know when you're opening up for the offline. So, I mean, that part still hasn't changed. And that I think is primarily because people believe that in offline, the engagement, it's like full commitment. It's like you're committed to learning one thing at one point of time, and then engagement is much higher. Feedback loop is much higher. Okay, it's like I say if we are doing an online course, right? And then I am stuck at a problem. Okay, I might go on Slack and then probably ask the question, and I might get an answer back in a couple of hours or so. I don't know. But here, when you're in offline model, there's a peer right next to you. You can just elbow him, saying, "Oh, I'm struggling with this. Can you help me here?" And then you'll get the help right away, right? So of course, I mean, that hasn't changed. But with COVID, what has changed is that definitely we need to think about, okay, how do we go out? And this has been throughout our plan anyway, that, okay, how do we offer our online services, our online course, online. So one of the problems with online is content is more of a commodity now. There's content everywhere. What is missing? And so what's missing is social setting, like, okay, a community to learn with, making sure that they actually, like Shweta mentioned, making sure that they actually get the outcome, okay, which is finish the course. Throughout the course, they're engaged, and then they finish the course and actually end up making a career pivot or whatever, right? So with COVID in point of view, we are going to make our transition into online course pretty soon, like probably in the first week of July or so, we'll be launching our online course too. So, I mean, in a way, COVID has sort of accelerated the pace for us.
Awesome. Amit, there is a question from Nikhil. Probably you can take that up. From marketing point of view, do you have a written positioning statement? If yes, can you please share? Written positioning statement. That is how you would position your product or a business.
Yes, I have written. So the way I do it is I keep on writing a PR what I will make 1 year from now. So every year I write a PR. So in January 2020, I will write a PR, what I'm going to be in 2021. Okay. So, and accordingly, we move for entire year. So, are you asking about what's that statement, or are you asking about is there a statement?
Yes, what is that statement? If you can share.
Yeah. So now, if you if you see on 2019, which is our website, at this point in time, it's hiring job fit candidate faster, because we have been serving a recruitment as the use case, which was primary use case for us. But now, we got a middle management in place, a senior marketer from joined, Freshworks has joined us as a marketing head and all. So the new positioning statement over a period of time is enterprise skill assessment. Enterprise skill assessment is the new thing that we will come up with.
Okay, awesome. Shweta, so now that you have a lot of people who take courses or boot camps at GreyAtom, then you'll have to find a lot many clients now. The companies who will hire or probably will end up paying. So how do you get them? Like, what was this stage in when you were starting up, and now you are at a growth stage? How are you doing that?
So we have about 120 plus partners who have hired from us over the last 3.5 years, and they keep coming back for more. But so that's one set of companies. But then what we've also done is we've gone ahead and built partnerships with aggregators like platforms like Shortlist.io, Cutshort.io, and also Calm.work. So all of these are our partner companies as well, and they get like bulk jobs. And these are all, like, if you check them out, they're all platforms that are enabling the entire end-to-end hiring process. So with these partners, then it becomes more effective to get our guys the jobs very quickly. At the same time, yeah, we have our own partners as well who've been working with us for quite some time.
Okay, awesome. So Ankit has asked this question, probably any one of you. Which marketing channel works best for you to reach out to your potential customers? But you'll have multiple stakeholders also. So which channels are working for what kind of a stakeholder for you? Amit? Amit, you got the question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you, like getting those people who assess or create those content for you and end users, which marketing channels are working for you to acquire them? Or Shweta, you can answer that, and Amit, probably you can also answer that.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Yes,
So we haven't gone really big on paid marketing as such. However, we definitely see a few channels doing very well for us. One is our community overall, meetup community, where we don't sell explicitly there, but through the community, definitely people get to know about our programs, and that has always helped us get new learners. The second best thing, I think, we have about 45% referrals. So 45% of new learners are coming via referrals, and there's a reward mechanism for the referrals as well. So that channel is really performing very, very well for us. Of course, we do paid marketing on Facebook and Google AdWords and all of that, but I would say it's all single digit conversions in terms of overall percentage when you look at it.
Okay. Prashant, for you, which marketing channels are working out really well?
For us, it's our students, the current students. I mean, our word of mouth is super strong, I would like to believe. Our students give a daily update on Twitter as to what they're learning. It's like their accountability tool, and it's also like good for their networking and all that, right? It's a general ed that we help them with, like setting up their Twitter and like asking them to tweet every day. So if you just do hashtag AltCampus, you will see plenty of these tweets from our students every day. And that in itself is a very strong proof that students are making progress every single day. And a lot of these people also use hashtag 100 days of code on Twitter. So when they're using hashtag 100 days of code, AltCampus also shows up. So that's it's one of the best ways to showcase that, okay, what we do works, and then people are making progress. So that works very good for us. Twitter works out very good for us. The other thing that works out good for us is Quora. Our student alumni have posted a bunch of reviews on Quora, and then people look at them and then they convert, right? So I would like to, yeah, so word of mouth, Twitter, and Quora, they work fantastic for us.
Yeah. Amit, which marketing channels are working out really well for you?
So Jatin, till today, I would say we are not with that enterprises, US enterprises. That is what we'll go after. SEO and content marketing. In all, I would say inbound marketing was working well for us. But when we realized that we need to go after enterprises, now we added 2 more channels which started working already. One is we got a Microsoft partnership, co-sale partnership. Second, we got a Ernst & Young partnership. So we are partner of Ernst & Young and like going through Ernst & Young to the bigger customer. Now we are in process of getting a part of proposal of TCS, Infosys and Wipro. So they will take our portfolio to their company. So Ernst & Young and Microsoft are already partner. TCS, Wipro and Infosys is yet to happen. But yes, that is the thing we are trying. So this is the new channel for us. And another channel is we are trying to create a SDR team in US where they are supposed to, so it's totally sales. We understood these are the customers and we are getting SDR team in US. So we are trying to recruit it remotely. We'll be here, but we will have a team in US who will set up the demos for it. Currently we only have one. So early results. So, yeah.
Awesome. Amit, you mentioned that in your mostly bootstrap startups. So in terms of finances, day one money started coming in, or there was phases where, like financially you face some problem? In case if you did, how did you come out from that?
See, financial problem तो हमेशा रहता है, like अभी भी है. So scale is changed. Okay. Yep. Initial days we were lean, but because I ran an IT services venture in the past, grew up a company from 1 to 100, around 100 people in the past in 3 to 5 years. So I was pretty sure about that cash is the king and you need to have it at any moment in time. And the way we did it is like Sujit and me, the co-founders of it, we both have one more house. So we kept it mortgage and kept some money in account when we started it. So we didn't wanted to go to finance every now and then. And nowadays, from last 2 years, we are profitable every month. And apart from that, I raised a small round recently, which I'm yet to do a PR of, from almost, I would say, all the SaaS heroes of India. So I already did it. So we and otherwise it's profitable every month now.
Awesome. Shweta, in your website is also mentioned you raise a couple of rounds. So how financially, how it is working out for you? And when you raise, how did that happen?
So we raised, we were a bootstrapped company for about 6 months. But then we built a tech platform very early on, which basically helps people code and it orchestrates the entire learning experience end to end. We also went to enterprises and deployed this platform there. So, for example, Barclays globally uses this platform to upskill their employees internally. So as the tech component was heavy, we definitely had a need to raise before we got profitable. So we raised our first seed round from Pravega Ventures, and I mean, it was via our prior connects that we knew Pravega, and all of that happened. And then last year we raised one more round, which was with Pravega and Montan. So in all, we've raised about $2.5 million so far. And last year also we also took the route of income share agreements, where so I see somebody asked a question around how do you improve the college education and how do you impact that, right? So what we saw was the engineering curriculum in our colleges is quite dated, and people are unable to get jobs at the end of 4 years of engineering. That's a very well established fact, and more so when you go to tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So we went to a lot of interior towns in Maharashtra, so Satara, Sangli, Nagpur, uh, all those places, and we saw that there's talent, there's good talent. It's just that they don't have the right exposure. And how can we help this talent? So with that purpose in mind, we started income sharing agreements for our full stack web development programs, and specifically targeted this segment, tier 2 and tier 3 towns. And we have our cohorts running. So we were just getting to become profitable, and then we decided to go the income share route. And we definitely have a revenue on the books, but once we place them, that's when that revenue is going to be realized. And that's about a couple of months journey away now.
Okay, awesome. Prashant, how is the financial stuff going on at your end?
Yeah, so we are completely bootstrapped so far. The revenue has started kicking in because we have placed people and then students are paying back through the ISM model. So we are making revenue, but we are not really profitable yet. Yeah, I mean, that's a short answer. Before that, Siddharth asked me a question, I think. Do you guys also promote the student reviews on Quora with paid ads? If yes, does it convert well? No, we don't promote student reviews on Quora.
Okay, awesome. Since there is a session about EdTech, and you are the leaders of education in India, so this question comes to you. What kind of changes you would like to make in education system, higher education, primary education? Amit, what would be your answer?
Like my target is not a B2C and India, so
Yeah.
I might not be the right person to answer it. I'm definitely making a dent, but to the US system.
Like you are the esteemed leader of the society. So what kind of changes you would want to make in education system in India? If not from a business perspective, but based on your experience, what kind of things that you would want more to happen?
Okay, that. Yeah, Jatin, I never thought about it because I started my journey from a municipality school and went through government college. I am a native of a place called as Amravati, which is a city in Maharashtra. Okay, so I started my education at government school, municipality school, 11th, 12th government, again engineering in government college, local government college. So I didn't had any exposure and chance that time even to think about is there any other option available. And so I never thought changing. I'm blessed. It's good, and really not the right person to comment on it. On it because studied free. My whole education was free always.
Okay, so that is something that could happen. Shweta and Prashant, in a way, you have a business model to help improve the education ecosystem, education systems. So Shweta, what kind of improvements you would like to see?
So I think we are trying to make whatever improvement I see needed in the higher ed sector overall. I'm definitely geared to make all those improvements as part of the GreyAtom journey itself. But I think beyond that, what I feel that overall higher ed needs a change, a mindset shift, is skills versus certification. I think more focus on hard skills, more focus on being able to do stuff rather than, getting a certificate from an XYZ ABC university and getting that kind of partnership. I mean, we've so far, GreyAtom has chosen not to approach a university somewhere outside India, get that partnership, take the course fees to, plus 2 lakhs and plus 4 lakhs, and then make it highly unaffordable for a vast majority. I think the thing is that if we all focus on skills over certification, that's going to be a huge improvement. Second thing is, I think overall the engineering colleges should make the curriculum more relevant. So even right now, I know engineering colleges that are teaching like a potpourri of different languages and different things and they have 100 marks paper on Java. I mean, a written exam on Java, which is like so baffling that even in these times, we are just not able to change. So I think if we are able to quickly adapt, now there's so much of open source curriculum also available. So if these colleges can just adapt to these kind of progressive curriculum, then they'll make better engineers.
Okay, awesome. Prashant, in a way, the name of your company is like a rebellion to the education system. So what kind of improvements you would like to make?
Sure. Before I answer your question, Siddharth has asked me, how did you guys fund the initial batch of students? We are so far bootstrapped. We funded it through our savings, friends, and family. Another question was, Prashant, do you have to counsel parents too? Initially, when we started AltCampus, I thought that I should probably write a blog post saying letter to parents. Unfortunately, I didn't do it. I thought it wouldn't be a good idea. But now, in retrospect, I think I should publish that article again. So yeah, we don't counsel parents directly, but I think parents, there's a big shift in how middle class thinks about education. Degrees are not so much important. They're still important, but they're losing their relevance. Now coming back to your question, Jatin, I have strong opinions on how education should change. I went to a second year engineering college and I dropped out because I didn't like the system. So I have very strong opinions on this. But again, it depends on different parts of education. One, it's like if it's a hard skill, having a medical professional or being a medical professional is very different from being a engineer. And in those terms, the education for both of these individuals would look very different. So while in general, for most of the degrees or for most of the skills, I feel like that degrees are becoming irrelevant. You don't need a credential. Be self-credentialed, as in build skills and prove your skills just by doing projects, showcasing it, just showcase your skills through your projects, or build your portfolio. Again, but for upskilling, there's internet is your college. Internet has best of the best content, best of the best teachers. One thing that internet doesn't have, at least, and one that a structure that say college course gives you, there's not that structure, well-defined path. So you need to sort of figure out a lot on your own when you're learning, right? So that's one. The second is community and peers, okay, and mentorship. Okay, it's okay, what do I do when I'm stuck at something? I'm self-learning, okay, I'm using internet to learn, but what do I do when I'm stuck? So you need a group of people around you. You need mentors, you need coaches to help you out in those situations. So so in general, I would like to see more people using self-learning, using the internet to learn. Find good communities, find good peers, find mentors, and all of this in today's age can be built even via just internet. On Twitter is it's great. LinkedIn is great for making such connections and mentorship and peers and all that. Okay, but that said, there is still a scope, and which is what we are doing as EdTech companies. There's plenty of scope for all sorts of companies to exist in this area, where someone could just be building the next coaching or self-study managed group or something like that. So yeah, I would like to see more people using self-learning. I think degrees are fine. Probably they're still relevant in some courses or some skills, but overall, I would like to see more people moving into self-learning.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Jatin, here I would like to add one thing, maybe not from a B2C point of view, but B2B point of view, what companies want. So I would agree to Shweta and Prashant both here. Previously, it used to be blue collar and white collar. So there is something called a new collar which is coming up. So a person will be known by the skill he possesses, not a degree he possesses. So he won't be a software developer now. After a few days, he's a cybersecurity specialist. He is a middleware specialist. He is going to be an AI ML guy, right? So degree is getting changed by skill very fast. So I would agree to both of them, okay? And a person will be known by the skill he possesses. So, and basically skill is becoming economy, and more and more digital transformation happened. It is going to fuel in it. So I would say education system should adopt to skill creation, skill readiness, than degree readiness. That will help.
Well said. Siddharth has asked this question to Amit. Have SaaS sales been affected by COVID?
So, okay. Siddharth, definitely it is affected, but it changes from use case to use case. When it happened in March and April, I thought I need to shut down my business, but I have 12 months of runway in my account, so no worries on that front though. But everybody just stopped spending for a month. Okay. Now to answer your question, it is SaaS sales is not a generalized statement. In our case, recruitment, say for example, in US, first, if there are 100 units of recruitment which was happening, that 100 unit has gone down from 100 to 40. Okay, I agree. But there were only 15% of the people who were automating that time. Now, whatever 40 is happening is automating now. So, in one way, addressable market has zoomed up.
Yep.
Right? Market has shrunk from 100 recruitment to 40 recruitment, but everybody is using some tool. So that way market has gone up. For upskilling and digital transformation, it is growing. So by and large, for our business, it's a, I would say, catalyst. We are growing faster than before now.
Awesome. So now right time to do a PR that you were talking about.
Yeah, it will be done on 4th of August.
Yes. 5:46. We're towards the end. So typically we do this where each panelist asks a question to another panelist. So basically we want to know what experts want to know from another expert. A specific question, and you can give a one-line answer so we can move faster. Shweta, what would be your question to Amit or Prashant?
Okay, so yeah, I would ask this question to Prashant. We are very relevant to each other, and I get asked this question a lot. So the question back to you then, the same question back to you. So, you know, they say that achieving quality at scale is always been the challenge in EdTech typically. And after a particular point, getting quality mentors and building the right curriculum fast enough so that you can impact millions at one time. How do you see solving that problem, and what's your approach to solving the scale problem in education? Like, so you and I, we both agree that we know how to get quality now after doing this for some time. How will you do this at scale?
Even though the question was long, but you have to give one-line answers, Prashant. You can give it a try. At least.
That's a great constant. I think it's investing in coaching. That would be my answer to this. Like you need to. So I mean, I'll elaborate. So that would be one-line answer. You know, investing in coaching. But my elaborate answer would be that. I mean, the scale, the way we think in SaaS is different from the way we look at it in education. Yeah. Okay. Because every person, no matter who you are, needs feedback. Okay, feedback is the driving source of fast or accelerated learning. Okay, so if you need feedback, one that we might come up with a brilliant AI bot or something like that gives feedback, but that we know is far off. We are not able to do that right now, right? So that means someone needs to do that job. Okay, and that means a ratio of 1 to say 15 people, right? One coach for 15 people. So when we want to scale, you need to make sure that you scale your coaching staff too, that you invest heavily into coaching, like coach the coaches first, like make sure that they are ready for mentorship. Okay, and they're ready for giving mentorship. So maybe having a course for coaching, like maybe how to give feedback, or like how do you, like on a particular topic, on how do you build a curriculum and stuff like that. So I think, I mean, that's the current way that we are taking. It's like, okay, we need to invest a lot in the coaches first before they can quit. So to scale, to get more students fit in, we need to scale more coaches. So we need more coaches. So yeah, I think you'll need to invest into human resource more.
Awesome. We'll do the circle. Amit, what would be your question to Shweta? And then Prashant, you have to ask question to.
I would agree to I would agree to Prashant here. So we like, as a culture, as Indians, we are very bad when it comes to giving, listening, asking, and looping it back when it comes to feedback. Okay, and the mantra is track, measure, and improve. Track what is happening, measure it, why it is not happening as desired, and improve it. Okay, so feedback is the main loop that you need to do, and that we realize. So in last 6 months, I'm not sure whether I did it right or wrong, because I never expected COVID. I ramped up my sales team by 22 people. Okay, and before they could deliver, we all went working from home, completed 100 days now. Okay, and the only way to get them effective was giving them the right feedback and training them. So from my company's perspective, I would agree to Prashant that that might be a way to scale your team, to scale the students, to great skills. But as a culture, we need to make them understand feedback needs to be taken and improved upon.
Awesome. Amit, your question for Shweta. Amit, your question for Shweta. Else, Prashant, yes, Amit.
Yeah. So, Shweta, like, I'm not sure, but I know a couple of more companies in the similar space, okay, and well-funded even, okay. So, like, there is a sudden rush from dozens of players to solve the problem you guys are solving, right? I do understand it's a big market. How would you see that you will have an, because I have two of my partner customer who are also doing the same, okay. Uh, how do you plan to be ahead in competition, or it is taking a pie from the market? So how do you think about it?
So you're
Being
right.
a clear leader, or at
Right. And I mean, you're right. And these are some of the companies, they spend maybe hundreds of crores in on their marketing budgets, on the Google ads, on YouTube, wherever you see them, right? And what is the differentiator that we bring to the table? So GreyAtom, since last 6 months, we've taken a path of enablement more. So whether it is enabling a bootcamp in Sweden, whether it is enabling a bootcamp in Canada to achieve the same outcomes that GreyAtom has been able to achieve, that's one path, and enabling enterprises the way we did with Barclays. So we're finding our niche there, and the B2C market here definitely is getting very cluttered, and I think I can't emphasize enough that though here on this panel, everybody is saying it's skills over certifications, but in India, the certification still plays a huge role in the mindset of the learner persona that we are going after, right? And we are completely anti-certification, so it's slightly anticlimactic. So there are only two options for players like us, either go the enablement route for B2C, which is the ISA, where you're saying that, guys, don't pay me anything and I will get you a job. So job is the final value prop for that learner. Or you're saying that, I'm going to enable 5 other bootcamps who are just starting off and really don't know how to get this thing right. And we will help them do this. So we see broadly these two options for players like us, because we don't want to get into the certification play, like, getting a certification from Texas Austin or Harvard or Stanford, and then you charge that customer back at least 40% more of whatever your course fee is. It just doesn't do good to anyone. So yeah, that's the path we are taking.
Yeah, I understand. Code Academy in US is our customer using us, so I understand your problem.
Yep. Prashant, your question for Amit.
Amit, how did you come up with InterviewMocha? I mean, it seems very interesting. How did you come up with the idea of InterviewMocha, and explain the brief journey as to how it has been?
So actually, when Sujita and I were discussing about doing something in product, so we were bored of services. Okay, so first of all, that was the reason we wanted to get out of IT services, getting a customer and giving equity to him each time once a project is delivered was not somehow digestible to us, because we worked with IBM Software Lab earlier prior doing this. So we thought, let's do something, because we have faced that problem that whenever HR recruiter used to get a person for interview, a lot of times the candidate was totally useless. And when we tried finding out what was the problem, our interviewers used to say, project managers used to say, that in his resume he's written everything. Indians are very lavish in writing resume, right? If you work on anything for even for a week, you will make sure that I'm proficient on this. Okay, so we thought let's work towards solving this problem, interview wala problem, And when we thought of this idea, we were having a cup of mocha coffee in Cafe Coffee Day. So we attached a word mocha to it. Okay, wow. InterviewMocha. So that way it was. But now we are no more interview solution. We are a skill solution. And 4th August is the rebranding day. We were launching our new identity.
Would it become Skill Mocha? Or will
it will become only mocha because Americans love coffee.
Wow, awesome.
Good luck for that, Amit.
So the last part of this. So typically, we do this thing where speakers choose best questions and they give some rewards. So that probably to save time, I didn't went into announcements. Probably which questions you like the most, Shweta? Which question you felt was interesting? Not necessarily to you only, but as a whole, which question you liked the most?
Okay, let me just give me like a couple of seconds to go back.
Prashant, which question you liked the most? So I do this because next time I get invited as a moderator, I ask those questions.
Right.
Any one question that you felt was interesting one?
I think this one, which we didn't fully answer though, how do you target a niche market in EdTech space? It's a very interesting question. And, based on the answer of this question, there could be newer startups that can evolve out of whatever solution you build for them. So I really like this question by Tarini.
So the person who has asked this question, you can reach out to Shweta and she will give 10 minutes of her time to answer or mentor you.
Absolutely.
Prashant, which question you like the most?
I think this question from Siddharth is very interesting. Do you all see your companies transforming, replacing the current education system? If yes, how? I mean, a decade down the line, how do you see the education system look like and how would your company fit into it? I think this is a very interesting question. I think not one company can solve the entire education landscape. But yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, so that opens up a conversation for, okay, what kind of companies would we need to basically make education better?
So friends, I've shared speakers' LinkedIn profiles and Twitter profiles. So Siddharth, you can reach out to Prashant for a 10-minute call with him. Amit, which question you like the most?
Siddharth, you can reach out to me for the same reason. Okay. I like the question where you are asking about what companies can do to change the education system. In our sort of company, Zoe is already doing it with taking their Zoe. They have created own Zoe Academy where they are taking not only degree guys, but 10th pass, 12th pass, and getting it. So that's the question I would say is more relevant. In fact, you won't know, like one of my key technical architects is only 11th pass, okay, and he's one of the best brain on Azure. So I totally believe in it.
Awesome, thank you so much. So 5:58, last 1 minute, and then we will end it on time. So we host 2-3 kinds of meetups. Every Wednesday, the startup growth panel with a different sector. And every Saturday, we have an investor perspective series. So this Saturday, we will be having Pratik from Nexus Venture Partners, Adit from Gamba Capital, and Sanjay from Go North Ventures. So every Saturday, we try to bring in good investors. So you can join us those programs. Also, thanks to this lockdown, we started this new feature called eChai.network, where you can book a one-on-one call with any other members. So if you're an eChai member, you can make unlimited calls. If you're not an eChai member, if you can just sign up, you can make 3-4 calls. So you can go to individual profiles, and then you will see this at one-on-one call, and then you can book. You can mention the context why you would want to make this call. So this is very useful. You can reach out to a lot of other people, and we bring in a lot of good speakers. So with eChai's journey, this is the 12th year for us. For the first 10 years, it was very small, like strong in Gujarat, bits and pieces in other cities. But last 1 year was very incredible, where we were able to start in a lot of other cities in India. And internationally also, we were able to host programs in 15 countries, physical. And our international avatar was far bigger than what we were doing in India. So it's an interesting journey that we were also going through. Thanks to COVID, everything is reset. So trying to reinvent everything, and probably we'll build on what we were able to do in last 1 year. And thank you so much, Amit. Thank you so much, Prashant. And thank you so much, Shweta. We started on time. We'll finish on time.
Jatin, but what about chai?
Chai, I'll come to Pune and we'll go to a cafe that you are talking about.
I'll make myself for myself. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. And thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Participant. Thanks, Shweta.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, everyone.